Ooh. I'm like, he's only 5 years old. Apparently the 2017 had like engine issues. And so it was chewing through wood, and I took it in and they're like, oh yeah, can you make this? How much is it? They're like, oh, like 4,000. I'm like, and I'm thinking, so I got that, it needs new tires, new brakes. I'm like, I'm just gonna put it for the new. Good and hurt, but I had to wait for months for the new. Is that because you're a TCU fan? Texas Christian, they're in the playoffs of football, and they're now I see that it's.
There's no mistake. There's no mistake.
Well, you know, and the only goofy thing is, it has everything that I ordered except, you know, when like you back up and it beeps if you're close to something, it has a button for that, but it doesn't have the. So I have like. We do want to survive. For sure. Everybody needs that. It's safe for a couple of times.
Me too. Back anyway. Not very.
Oh, you see how Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying,
Then there's.
yeah, I looked at that too, so maybe I might be able to do something.
You better make reservations now.
Mhm.
Do so
If I go where I went this summer, I don't have to.
there you go.
When I went to Florida for the summer.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it took me.
Yeah, we've.
Thank you.
Orlando.
You said that. I agree with you.
I have. Did you give us some gloves to keep it warm?
Is there some people mover, and so they were moving faster. No, it's just like, yeah.
Oh, you made one? I don't have any, sorry. They should. Say it right now. It's about their own. Say it. You so.
So we will go ahead and call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. If we can start with a moment of silence.
Recording in progress.
And if we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So for those in the gallery, just want to ask if you have cell phones on you, to please either turn them off or turn them on silent. And council members to make sure to take them off the desktops. City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Reed. Here. Jackson.
Here.
Lawler.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor.
Here. Do we have any council member comments?
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Is this when are we doing the nomination? Yes.
No.
Okay, no problem. I'll have no problem.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn for sign die?
So moved.
Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned, 7:02 PM. Now we will have the recognition of our new council. Returning council.
Whatever you want to do.
I'm going to the front.
Raise your right hand to repeat after me. I, Victoria Garcia-SNYDER,
I, Victoria Garcia-SNYDER,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state,
and of the state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the mayor
of the mayor
of the city of Albion.
of the city of Albion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Finally, Donovan, you're up next. You raise your arm, you can do that after that.
Do I need to sing? You can if you want.
I, Donovan Williams,
I, Donovan Williams,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the Precinct 1 council member
of the Precinct 1 council member
of the city of Albion.
of the city of Albion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Lynn Reed,
I, Reed,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United
of
States
the United States
and of this state,
and of the state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my
to the
ability,
best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duty
of the Precinct council member,
of the pardon,
Precinct 2 council member
of the precinct 2 council member
of the city of Albion.
city of Allen.
So help me God. I, Vivian Davis,
I, Vivian
do
Davis,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the Precinct 5 council member
of the Precinct 5 council member
of the city of Albion.
of the city of Albion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Yeah.
I, Andrew French,
I, Andrew French,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United
of the
States
United States
and of this
and
state,
of this state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my
to
ability,
the best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the Precinct 6 council member
of the Precinct 6 council member
of the city of
in
Albion.
the city of Albion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ms. Mayor, here is your new city council. So we now call the meeting to order.
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 7:06 PM. City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams,
Present.
Reed, Jackson,
Here.
Lawler,
Here.
Davis,
Present.
French,
Here.
and Mayor Snyder.
Here. Next, we will have the nominations for the mayor pro tempore. Councilwoman Reed.
I would like to ask that Mrs. Nora Jackson continue to be.
And I saw Councilwoman Davis's hand.
No, you gotta do one at a time.
So that, do we collect the nominations or we do, and then we do
No, you
it?
do it one at a
So
time.
it's basically what she's done is made a motion.
Okay.
So you have to ask if there's a second. And proceed from there.
So do we have a second to Councilwoman Reed's?
I second.
Then you have discussion.
So comments?
Well, I just think that she did a good job at what she did last time. I enjoyed working with her on that, so that's why. I guess.
Councilman French,
I would endorse that nomination.
any other comments?
Thank you.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yeah.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yeah. So now we will have our vote.
Stand up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I, Nora Jackson,
I, Nora Jackson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state,
and of the state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the Mayor Pro Tem
of the Mayor Pro Tem
of the City of Albion.
of the City of Albion,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Great. We have a team in place. Do I have a motion to approve of the agenda?
So moved.
Support. Do we have any additions, corrections to be made? Councilwoman Leonard, do you have your hand up? Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. So next we have our presentations and recognition. So first up, we have Rod Otten with our Albion Healthcare Alliance, who would like to recognize his vaccine ambassadors. Rod, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to honor our ambassadors tonight. We are going to recognize 6 tonight. Although we've had over the last almost 3 years now that COVID has been with us. We've had a number of ambassadors that have worked with us. However, these 6 have been with us for almost the whole time. And we are just incredibly grateful for the work that they've done, the sacrifices that they've made, in doing a number of things. One, in providing education in the community about the COVID, not only COVID, but the vaccine itself and the benefits of it. 2, being a part of organizing clinics and being at clinics as we've had them in the community to make the vaccine available to community residents. And they've been there throughout these last 2.5+ years, working with us, again, with the effort and with the hope that as many residents in the Albion area would be vaccinated as possible for the safety of the community. And so we really appreciate the dedication they've demonstrated throughout these last 2.5+ years. I've asked Mayor Snyder if she wouldn't mind joining me to honor them tonight. We are missing 2 of the 6, so we'll just be recognizing 4 present tonight. And we'll start, first of all, if Katina Hall could come and join us. We'd first of all like to have her recognized for, again, the service that she provided. Thank you.
You gotta get in there, Director.
Thank you, sorry.
Thank you. And then I'd ask Melissa Robinson, if she would come forward, please. We'd like to recognize Melissa.
Thank
And then finally, the dynamic duo of Edmund and Mary Mann. The Manns have been present throughout so much of the work we've been doing. We've just really, appreciated their dedication to the work we're doing. And if you could come forward, please, we'd like to recognize them as well.
you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted to offer that Marquetta Frost and her daughter Malia were the two other ambassadors who are unable to be here, but they played an integral role in making sure people are aware. So I just wanted to honor and recognize them as well.
Yeah,
Thank you both, Marquetta and Malia.
yeah.
Get them back someday, right?
All right, do we have a motion to open our public hearing?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say.
Actually, don't have to, the motion, a second to open public.
Is there discussion? I didn't even look at it.
Just open the public.
Okay.
Entertain comment.
So at this time, we will open up our public hearing for our 2023 budget. If we have anybody within the gallery that would like to stand and speak on the budget, you have the opportunity to come forward to address council. All we need is your name and address, and 3 minutes is yours.
Good evening, council. My name is Linda Lanou, and I live at 1102 East Michigan Avenue. I just wanted to make a general comment related to the fact that this is a public budget and the importance of participatory budgeting so that people understand all the decisions that you have to make, and also have a sense of belonging and participation in their tax dollars being used on behalf of the city at large. So I just wanted to publicly endorse the idea of allocating even just a fraction of a percentage to a fund. So when dollars are being spent on public parks and different things where people might not understand why resources are allocated that way, there's just an engaging process around how we're choosing where money is going and how resources are being spent in the city. So having even $1,000 that people could engage around what are our priorities, what are our needs, what are our demands, where do we want staff time to go, would allow for, I think, a lot more, a lot better outcomes in the long run. So I just wanted to offer that publicly. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to stand and address council in regards to our 23 budget? Have anybody else? If no one else would like to speak, I will go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:16 PM. So are we going ahead to approve the budget? So public comments, at this time, if we have anybody within the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to an agenda item, you may do so at this time. All you have to do is state your name and address. And again, 3 minutes is yours. And do we have anybody else? Okay. So we'll go ahead and move on. We don't have a need for a closed session. Consent calendar items within your packets. You have the minutes to the November 21st study session, the 21st regular council meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Any questions, corrections that need to be made? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Individual discussion items. Do I have a motion to approve the first reading of our rental registration ordinance?
So moved.
Support. Director Arnold, if you would like to give us a little overview, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. So what we have in front of us is our rental registration ordinance. That's what it says. It creates a registry that we keep at the city of all rental properties and creates a schedule for regular inspection of those properties. The ordinance in front of you requires that inspection once every 3 years, requires that inspection against the standards of the International Property Maintenance Code, which is adopted as our property maintenance code for the city under Chapter 18 of our ordinance. This is to address a serious issue that we have kind of across the board in Albion, one leg of it with the conditions of properties and the deterioration of those conditions. We have a pretty significant problem with rental units in the city where we have landlords making money on units that are not units that would pass an inspection. And we know that because we keep having to go into units where we find folks living in substandard conditions, conditions that do not meet the minimum required by our code. And so what this is trying to do is make sure that we stop that and make sure that people are only going to be able to live in rental units or not rental units that are in compliance with the property maintenance code. So that's what this ordinance is in front of you. Council knows we've been working on this for some time and administration is recommending approval.
Do we have any questions for Director Arnold? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the amended 23 council July meeting dates?
So moved.
Support.
So when the 23 council meeting dates were first presented, I noticed that our dates in July may not be conducive for community input since the first meeting date is July 3rd. Luckily, we have 5 Mondays within July, so we can just push back the 2 dates by 1 week and still have a week in between the last July and the first August meeting. So we just need to approve of that change. Do we have any questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis, Yes. Brent,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2022-36 to submit the MDR Spark grant application?
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Slater.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So at our last council meeting, you approved a proposal to have Whiteman and Associates work with the city of Albion to develop an application to seek funding from the MDNR Spark Grant Program. This is the first round of this grant program. You can apply for up to $1 million to improve or enhance any recreation space within your community. We are seeking $1 million in grant funds to go towards the second phase of the McIntosh Park project that will include a new walking trail around the perimeter of the park, a new parking lot, lighting, trees, shrubbery, trash cans, benches for McIntosh Park. Phase 2 is included in the city's Parks and Recreation Master Plan, so we are on track for identifying a source of funding to support that project. If we are lucky and receive those grant dollars, this will kind of free up some of the donation that we received through the Donicola gift to support some of the other projects that are identified in the blueprint for a better Albion. So we are looking to have council approve this formal resolution. It is required for our grant application, and the application is due on December 19th.
And one of the great parts of this grant application is that it doesn't require matching funds. This is all free money. Yes. Great. Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
The amount that you're requesting, is that as high as you can go, or it is high?
Yeah, so we are looking to request the max amount that you can apply for, which is $1 million.
Did I see a hand on this side? Any other questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Brent,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Discussion on grant facilitation, Councilman Williams.
Okay.
Lead that discussion.
Yes, so. We know that we've had barriers to receiving grants here in the community that we otherwise would qualify for. And the barrier being that we don't necessarily have the bodies to facilitate the workload that accompanies those. Me and the city manager, we've had discussions about this. And did you have further feedback that you wanted to share with everyone else?
Yes, so after our conversation that I had with Councilmember Williams last week, we all know that we are limited in capacity and internal staffing. With that being said, we really need to rely on and build on our relationships with outside organizations to further take advantage of grant programs. Some of those organizations include Neighborhoods Inc. of Battle Creek, why is it drawing a blank? Community Action Agency, and we also are a member of National Leagues of City, which they do. We have enrolled into a program that they assist us with identifying grants that will work for our community. They help us develop that grant application. So I think it's really important that we really build upon those relationships until we can build capacity internally here at City Hall. I know this council, you guys are really interested in obtaining more CDBG grant applications that residents can apply for to make improvements to their homes and in other areas in our community. I mean, talking with city staff, unfortunately, we have not been able to apply and administer a CDBG grant application internally for quite some time. The last time we did that was early 2000s, and we still had to partner with Community Action Agency to have them administer that grant program for us. That was the last time we did. We had a planning department that was fully staffed with 4 to 5 employees. We are now down to 1. Thankfully, we have been able to build into 2023 budget to bring on an administrative assistant for Director Arnold to kind of help assist in identifying grants, help our residents apply for different programs that become available. But Councilmember Williams and I, we talked about really enhancing, building those relationships with our outside organizations. It's included in my manager's report, but CEDM, they have announced a community Community Development Fellow Program, which we are in the process of collaborating with the EDC to apply and take advantage of. If we are awarded this, we will be able to have a Community Development Fellow come to our town for, I believe it's
15 months.
15 months, yes, to help work on building internal capacity, increasing development here in our community, working on maintaining our RC certification, working with the EDC on economic development. So those are the different types of programs that we really need to rely on until we can fully build up the staff here at City Hall. And I think it's to get a better understanding on what grants that you're wanting for us to take advantage of. I think when we have our 2023 strategic goal session, we want to hear from you. What other types of grants are you looking for? I think the city is doing a great job at applying for and receiving grants. We've received a lot of grants this year, several for public safety, for our dams, our bridges, roads, water, all of that type of infrastructure. But if there are other programs that you are wanting us to look and take advantage of, I think we can have that that conversation when we have that strategic goal work session.
And, you know, over the past several council meetings, we know that housing and getting funds for homeowners, landlords, we know that that is a top priority for council, just based off the conversations that we've been having. So that is something that I've been very appreciative of Virgie Ammerman kind of being aggressive and trying to find ways where we can promote growth and get that type of support to our residents. So it's great that she's working in collaboration with our city manager to find ways to help promote those type of funds. Because in the past, like we've known, funds have been just left on the table because not enough people are applying for these grants. They may think it's too difficult, but we keep trying to push that. And, you know, council members, the way you communicate with your constituents and your precinct, if that's something that you can push, hopefully that gets to people and so that they know that funds are available, because there's so many repairs that we all know and see throughout in the entire community of Albion. So very appreciative of the work that both the city manager and our CEO, the EDC, are doing together. Do we have any other comments for this discussion? Okay. Next is our discussion on the leaves and the easement between the code and Councilman Hunt. Would you like to lead this discussion?
Thank you. So as I mentioned at a previous meeting, I would like us to consider making a change to our ordinance code with regard to lawn and leaf bags. Thank you, Colin, for providing the relevant language. Unfortunately, it doesn't correlate with what's written in the letter from our code enforcement officer. The language in the letter doesn't match code that you brought me. So, and that's fine. What I would like us to think about is that for the months of September through November, when we are allowed to put leaf bags, collect our leaves and put them in bags, that we not be cited for putting them in the easement, waiting for the weekly pickup of those leaves. I mean, I don't think anybody's interested in moving things twice. I certainly am not. And so I think, you know, as we think about making things easy for compliance in terms of leaf pickup and trying to not have people blow the leaves into the road, that making it easy for citizens to put the leaves in bags, put the bags in the easement, and then 5-6 days later, whenever the local Granger truck comes and picks them up, they pick them up, and we don't have to worry about like putting them in our backyard or putting them in our side yard, and you know, during the weekend and having to move all those bags again the night before. That's a burden that I think we can alleviate with just simply rewriting the code that says that for the months of September, October, November, when we're doing leaf pickup, that we're allowed to store those leaf bags in the easement.
Attorney Harkness.
So probably the section, I mean, I think what the code official has looked at, what I've looked at, I mean, there's different sections that could apply here. What I would suggest is The one that specifically pertains to easements and the one that would probably make the most sense to amend is 66-141 that basically says. Nobody shall basically deposit any waste materials in a. Public or private property except as provided in the article. In this case, the public property being the easement. So. What I think, and I'm happy to bring back to council for a future meeting, but basically the language would be something along the lines of this. It would say. Like nothing in this section shall prohibit, what do we have here? A person from depositing leaves in, storage bags, specifically for like refuse collection during the months of, we'll just say like October 1 through December 1 or something like that. But we'll be specific that it can only be leaves that are bagged and they're there for pickup, not,
Right,
just,
right.
sure, and we can build something into that.
So to quote Jean-Luc Picard, make it so.
How many days are you at the floor?
Leaf pickup, I mean, I start raking leaves in mid-September. So it would be lovely to say September 15th, they stop doing leaf pot pickup. The first week in December is the last week in November is the last week, so.
My suggestion would be we'll just mirror whatever Granger's pickup schedule is.
Yeah.
Because they're not, obviously, they're the ones doing the pickup, so we'll just.
Well, they pick up leaves starting in April, right?
Yeah.
So we could,
I mean.
Yeah, their place is like April, the beginning of April through the last weekend in November. So we would have to identify.
and
something.
yeah,
Then I would suggest we just, this is 60 days in the fall.
that's all I was asking for. That's all I was asking.
Okay.
Since we're on the topic, when does the tree dump close?
Director.
The last public tree dump was this past Saturday.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
And that schedule we publish it in the paper and it is also on the city's website.
All right, any other?
Just one other comment on that. I know my office has received several calls from residents. Just please, council, if you can remind your constituents and just for the residents paying attention or listening to this meeting. We do have that service through Granger. We no longer have the leaf pickup and I received complaints with some residents are still raking their leaves to the curb and they're blowing into the street. We had that first round of snow in November. So when the plows came and it pushed all the leaves and some they've got pushed into residents' yards who may not have trees or have already cleaned up their leaves. So we can avoid that problem by taking advantage of the yardways. Breaking them, putting them in either the paper bags or the large bin that Ranger does provide. But we really please remind your constituents in your precincts that service is available and that you should not be raking your leaves to the street. I know one of our goals is to clean the catch basins and the curbs. That will really assist us in doing so, and we'll be able to use the street sweeper if that large leaves and debris is not raked to the curb. So just putting that as a simple reminder. I know I've talked with code enforcement. They are going to be addressing this more so with our residents.
Councilman Reese?
I know all summer, I cleaned from in front of my house, the leaves along the sidewalk. I mean, the curb and out. But when they did the first leaf thing, the first plowing, and they came down Eaton Street, they piled a whole bunch of them up across Chestnut Street. So then when they came down Chestnut Street, it pushed them all up on my yard.
Yeah, that's why everybody needs to work together so that type of situation doesn't occur. Mayor Pro Tem Jackson?
Yes, we had started a conversation with trying to get out, remember, and help with the leaves and get that taken care of. We even spoke about even a day or some days for our own individuals, that work for the city. We never kind of came to agreement because we know there was dollars and there were cents and all that, but I think we should stay on that And I don't know how you can address this or help us with that, Kevin, but we can talk about it later. But we need to do something, even we had, the college before. I know Linda, she's not here, but we also had individuals from the college come out and they helped us go out and clean up. So we still need to try to do something together to ease this. So then when it does go back onto our residents, it's not such a heavy burden. Because we have many individuals here that can't do all that. We have some that can, but if we can just come up with some kind of way, maybe we might have to spend a little bit, but not a lot. And we work together to get this taken care of. So, I mean, it needs to go on the agenda again, so I can get it with Kevin and we can talk about dollars in the sense, put something together, but we need to do something to help as well.
Someway, just like you said, we've got to help the elderly and the handicapped, because I've gotten calls from people and they said, I just can't do it. I've also gotten calls from people that said, my insurance say if anything happens to me while I am doing it, it's not their fault. They're not paying. So, something's got to be.
All right, any other comments? Okay. Future agenda items. Anything that we would like brought forth? Yep, Councilman Williams.
Okay, I would like for us to work together, and try to find different organizations that we can partner with to create, summer programs as far as, summer employment for the youth here in town. I know there's a few different organizations that have funding that do this type of work, and they probably just need to know that we're interested in having them here in the city of Albion. So that would be one of the things I would like to add to the next.
Councilman Reed, do you have a hand?
There was something I was kind of thinking of too, because now since the election, I tried something before election, but when the elections was going on, nothing was happening but elections. Now probably be better to reach someone. What I wanted to propose though is a day retreat, the middle or either the last of January. And I think it should be for all city workers, because I think we all need to get on the same page of what's going to be done, what's proposing being done, and how we're going to get things done and how we can work together.
So do you want it to be our the
A one-day
2023,
retreat.
like strict where we would set the goals for that next year? Or just,
Yep.
Attorney Harkness?
I had actually mentioned at a previous meeting that we're gonna have one of the Star lift station easements. Unfortunately, Star didn't get it to me until Friday afternoon. Fortunately, Mr. Van Summerlin from Star actually came to my office on Friday and physically dropped it off. So I have it in hand and we can, we'll have it for council to vote on at the next meeting.
we also have the 23 budget.
Did we have anything on this side? Yep, Councilman Williams.
Yep, another thing, we know, we have communication constraints here in the city and, just getting stuff out to the residents. I wanted to know if we could possibly create a QR code with a link to the city website or whatever page that we have that has the things that we feel people should be updated on, help with water bills, the different things that we cover that they may not necessarily know where to look. But if we put like a QR code on a sheet of paper, send it out with the water bills, and then everybody can put it on their refrigerator. So whenever they had a question about anything or wanted to know if the city had an update, they can just scan it at their house and, whatever's new or what's being discussed or what's coming up, they'd have access to it. It'd be like a constant newsletter, basically.
I would like to endorse that idea in terms of a consistent newsletter from the council or from the mayor's office or something like that. I know that individual council members send newsletters out to their constituents, but I wish that we could work together in terms of maybe it's the QR code, or maybe it's a centralized kind of communication to the entire city, all of the precincts regarding what is happening at the council table.
These are some of the things that I would like brought into that day retreat.
Mhm.
Bring in our ideas as to how we can better work together to make the city work like it should.
Mhm.
Any other comments? All right. Public comments. At this time, if there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council, you may do so at this time. All you need to do is state your name and address, and 3 minutes is yours. Do we have anybody else? Yep, come on forward.
It was about the leaf bags.
You want to state your name?
Madison Wyckoff. I dorm at Seton Hall at Albion College. It was about the leaf bag stuff, and I wanted to understand the importance of like wording in the code between like the white writing and stuff.
So we would be more than happy to speak with you after.
Okay.
After the meeting, at this, public comments is not a kind of like a back and forth. Anybody else? Okay. City managers report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So a copy of my report was included. However, since it was published, I have a few additions. You will see an updated copy at your desk. I just wanted to really highlight the Habitat for Humanity. They will be hosting a meeting this Wednesday, December 7th at 3 p.m. in the auditorium at the Marshall Opportunity School. Myself and Director Arnold, we've met with them last week, and they at this meeting, they will discuss their recent projects in Albion, what they have planned for our community in the future. And there are existing programs, and there are a few new programs that will benefit Albion exclusively. And they really stress that they need to build a volunteer base for Albion to make sure that a lot of these programs can be successful here in our community. So I would encourage anyone who is interested to learn more about that to attend their meeting on Wednesday, December 7th at 3 p.m. Update on the Calhoun County Broadband Task Force. I met with Lucy Blair. She is the Calhoun County Communications Manager on Tuesday, November 29th. She just provided me with an update on where they're at with the countywide broadband initiative. Moving forward, I will serve on that task force to represent the city of Albion. They're just looking for ways. There are 2 grant programs that will become available. One through the state of Michigan that application opens in January, and then one federal government that will become available later in the spring. They've been working with an outside consultant to develop a plan for our county to bring broadband countywide. So I will, like I said, be participating in that task force, and will be glad to provide you with more information as it becomes available. I'm very happy to announce we received this announcement last Friday that the city has been awarded a drinking water asset management grant in the amount of $401,074. So this grant will be used to identify unknown material in our water service lines. As you all are aware that the state has the lead and copper rules that we are required to replace all lead and copper water lines in our community by 2040. That will be here before we know it, and that burden falls on the local government. So to have grant dollars available to help us identify all of our unknown lines is very critical and very exciting. So I'm very excited to share that we will be moving forward with that project. We also received word that we have been awarded seven MDOT local bridge grants totaling a for a total of $522,000. If you can recall earlier this spring, you guys approved 7 different grant applications for preventative maintenance on 7 bridge structures here in town. We will not receive these grant funds until fiscal year 2025. This is the same grant program that is being used for the full replacement of the North Albion Street Bridge. And I'm also just excited to share by 2025, all 9 city-owned bridge structures will have had some level of work done to them. One being a full replacement that will occur this year with the North Albion Street Bridge. Next year, the Haven Road Bridge will have some preventative maintenance with the road project. And then the 7 additional structures will all have preventative maintenance work done in the year 2025. So that's a really big accomplishment that the city should be very excited for or excited about. And the city also submitted a pre-proposal application for the Eagle Dam Risk Reduction Program in the amount of $1 million. The total project is, we're looking at 1.2 million. So we're requesting $1 million in grant through this program. As you're aware, we received grant dollars to complete a dam's feasibility study. That study is near completion. We are waiting for the state to come down and collect a few more samples, and then they will finalize that that study and come and share the final report before council. So this grant application will help with the designs cost for that project. So we are, I will provide more information once I receive it. It's just a pre-proposal, so that's not the final application process yet. And then I did share when we just talked about grant facilitation, we're working with the EDC to apply for the Community Development Fellow Host Community Program. So hopefully we will be selected and have a community fellow come work in our community for 15 months. That is all.
Do we have any questions for City Manager Snyder? Yeah, Councilman French.
City Manager Snyder, which dam? Are we talking about the Haven Road Dam?
We're talking about all 5 dams in our community. It's a study on all of them.
Okay.
Now, about the dam, you said if we got the funding, it'd be $1 million.
Yes, we've requested $1 million in grant funding. And there are other, this grant program requires a 10% match. So we're looking at a $200,000, which would fall on us to provide, but there are other grant programs available that we can apply for that will cover that.
For the
That
matching
required
funds?
match. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions for our City Manager? All right, council member comments. Councilwoman Lawler.
Thank you so much. I just want to give a shout out to the chamber for the parade. It was really, really nice. We haven't had a good parade in a long time, so I was excited about it. I was able to bring some people from out of town to come and see us, all in the parade. And I just wanted to say it was really nice. It was really nice.
Councilwoman Reed.
I give a shout out to Gary Tompkins. The bridge jumped out, grabbed me and hugged me, and I'm looking at it, I'm scared that I don't know who he is. And then I said, Gary, and he said, yes. A shout out to Gary.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes, I too appreciated the parade, and this is my first time actually participating, but it was nice, and I hear that it was larger than previously. I know it was larger than a couple of years ago, so this is good. But I would also like to say thank you to our city manager for outstanding work. You know, this is really good. This is a lot of good news, and a lot of money is coming into our community because of your efforts. And thank you. Yeah. And also, I had the opportunity to attend MML training on November 30th. And I chose the 30th because it was a convenient time in my schedule. And not to be a spoiler, but just to kind of go over some of the things that are covered in the training. And there are like maybe 3 or 4 more trainings that are going to take place between now and January 12th. or January 21st, one of the two. But they are covering introduction to the league services and all of the support that they have to offer in terms of almost everything that goes on at the council level. If there's a question, they have some research or some advice or some support that we can turn to them. So that's good, as well as the overview, roles of elective officers, elected officials, the Open Meetings Act. That was my favorite because it gave me more information than I previously knew of in terms of open meeting. I know the details and I know the importance of open meeting, but in the forum and things like that, I did know that there are penalties assigned to open meetings, and those penalties are significant. And just to kind of highlight some of the penalties, that was new information for me. The first offense, maximum of $1,000. Second offense, up to $2,000, jailed for a maximum of 1 year or both. And 3, the public official who intentionally violates the act is personally liable for actual and exemplary damages up to $500, plus court cost and attorney fees. So when we mess up, there are penalties. And I didn't realize the penalties were that strict. So, but the Open Meetings Act, they talked about FOIA, as well as government finance. And there are people who, I don't know if we have more or less mentors when we come on board, but there are people who are well seasoned in this process who are available to help us. And there was a panel discussion of the ambassadors. So this is something that I think all council members should attend at one time or the other, because you will receive new information regardless of what your experience level is.
Great.
Any other council member comments? So I as well kind of want to echo Councilman Lawler's sentiments in regards to our Albion Aglow. It was more than the parade. Billy Bears, who is our executive director, did a lot of planning and putting in efforts to also organize what was going on downtown with the businesses. And so having specific hours and each business being able to offer certain things, that was pretty cool. When even after the parade, there were still tons of people downtown walking around, getting into the children's museum, getting into the businesses. So that is definitely a boost to our downtown business owners. This past, was yesterday, several members of the community came together to give thanks to our Chief Kip. We had several people who worked for months to organize this event, but it's a nice gesture to let people who serve our community know how thankful we are for them before they retire. So that was the intent, and he's not retiring. No, I'm not. I'm just putting bad juju out there. But just to give thanks for his 10 years of being chief, we realize that he is the longest standing chief here through ADPS. So we just wanted to give him recognition for that.
Chief as well as the officers.
Yes.
So they were recognized too.
And 20 some years of service, 23 years of service to the department in total. So it was just a nice gesture and a nice event to be a part of.
Oh, and I did add that we do receive municipal handbook, so to speak, when you go to the training.
Mayor Pro Tem Jackson, do you have your hand up?
Yes, I just want to piggyback a little bit on when you talked about the parade, which was awesome. You know, we seen it when we first got elected, but no, and it was like, whoa. So it was wonderful, but I would like to say just to the council, because we did come out and we did support, that we also as the council need to do our due diligence, that when you're asking for us to participate in the parades, which we have asked you to do, which you have done. So I thank you for that, but we need to give you when we are, if we are or not, so that when Billy or whoever is trying to organize, he's not pulling his hair out. I won't tell you why, Billy, but anyway, that's safe. But we need to be better, we need to do better on that and responding, or at least saying maybe or maybe not, because they don't know where to put us at, where not to put us at. Some people can complain or not, but we should not do any complaining. So I do thank you for what you have done. All three of these different parades, you did get us in, but we need to do better in letting them know so they can position us where they would like to position us. And we thank you for holding that form down for us.
Councilman French, you had your hand up? Nope. Any other comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned, 7:06 PM. Everyone have a good evening.
Same to you. Good meeting.
Too formal.
Real good. Wow.